All right, final meme. Let's get started with fucking a eugenics conference, allegedly. You know, I guess that's a little hyperbolic, except not really. Pronatalism. So, we all know about like the pronatalist types. A lot of them are weird. Well, because one of them is Elon Musk, but yeah. Well, I mean, this is where I saw this obviously as well. Boy Meets Minnie on Blue Sky. A blue guy. I'm so hilarious and original. So, why are high fertility people always so weird? A weekend with pronatalists. I feel like I've seen this couple before. This is just a fetish to them, right? Like, let's keep it a buck 50, okay? We're keeping it a buck 50. This is fetish content, all right? They have a fucking kink and they're just acting out their kink on like in public or whatever. Let's keep it real. This is a fucking kink, okay? Breeder kink, whatever, right? The need to breed. Let's see. Where's like? Do we have like the full video here? We do.
Raise your hand if you are a mom or a dad.
So I guess let's talk about pronatalists. There's a reason why a lot of them are fucking weirdos, and they tend to be on the right. Generally pretty far right. Because again, you want to know why it's people are not having kids nowadays? That shit's fucking expensive, and no one has any fucking money to raise kids. It induces a lot of stress and anxiety, and considering the fact that social safety nets are so threadbare within the fucking United States of America, that the fact that only very rich people. Also, you're gonna notice something about the ethnic demographics that are within most pronatalists. They tend to be fucking rich, affluent white people who can afford to have a lot of kids. It's unsurprising that, generally speaking, a lot of like older millennials, younger millennials, like, I don't know if it's like correct for me to include Gen Z in here, but like I guess technically are gonna start having kids like way later in life, because that shit's fucking expensive, man. And they don't have like the money in order to be able to put food on the table, pay for insurance, pay for rent, and do all this other fucking shit while also trying to raise a family, right? Because kids, guess what? They're expensive. You have to have, like, if you're gonna have like unless you have like a really good job that pays a lot, there's no way you're gonna have like a person who has to be committed to raising a child, because guess what? Like I said before, childcare and like paternity and maternity leave in the United States is non-fucking existent. It's like the only first world country that just doesn't do it. So like, you need a lot of money. Yeah, just like you just said, Boy Meets Minnie, 150K plus to sustain a single income household, and you want to be able to have a kid with just being able to pay the bills. Yeah, right. Like, why are you surprised that like people are just not having kids, right? Not to also mention, like, some people have like moral quandaries with like climate change and stuff like that, because that's like the first thing most like conservatives are gonna say, like, you're just saying that because like climate change is like really bad. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, that's like some people who have that, but no, it's expensive to fucking raise kids, man. No one gets fucking paid in order to fucking raise them. What, you're gonna like hire a fucking nanny? Nannies are fucking expensive, and the only ones who can do that are, like I said before, rich, affluent white people. Which, guess what? Most of the people are in here. Crazy. Who would have thought? But yeah, let's see. What does CNN got for us?
Raise your hand if you are a mom or a dad in the room here tonight. This is the war for civilization, and we are going to win it.
War for civilization? Wait a minute. Hold on. I thought it was about... Wait. Well, first off, Jack Posobiec, no Nazi. Wait, hold on. I thought we were trying to, like, push for people to try to have children or something. Why are we talking about, like, civilization? This is a little weird. Is Jack Posobiec going to mention anything at all about, like, you know, the reasons why people are not having kids anymore. It's expensive to have them. No one gets paid any money or anything in order to have kids, you know? There's no subsidies. You want to know the people who were, like, honestly providing, like, means for people to actually have children? It was the Democrats with child tax credits that they let sunset for some fucking reason. You know, they cut child poverty in half. But, you know, cool, I guess. Good job, Democrats. A really easy policy that could just, like, super easily win. But, you know, actually, no, it's about fighting for Western civilization. How much does Jack Posobiec get paid? What's his, like, net worth? He's definitely a millionaire. He's done work on, like, stupid right-wing podcasts, right? He can afford to have kids. Meh. But, you know, nice meme.
One life at a time.
We're here at NatalCon, which is a gathering of about 200 people from all over the world who have come here because they all feel very strongly that the world needs more babies.
There's a civilizational catastrophe coming, and the way to solve it is to have sex. Like, that's got to be the easiest pitch in history.
Birth rates around the world are...
It's not the problem that people don't want to have sex. They don't want to have kids, right? People want to have sex. But it's difficult to even have that because, again, people hardly get paid. And you know what? You have to put in some effort to court a woman to have sex with, right? It's not as easy as just, like, walking up to Shorty, just being like, "Ayo, Shorty, your ass fat. You want to bang?" Generally doesn't work like that, okay? Let's be honest here. They just want to have, like, you know, their fucking weirdo tradcon, like, fetish content, LARP shit show fest, whatever bullshit. That's why.
Plummeting, and they think this is the issue of our time.
It's a massive
It is an issue.
Conversation, and that's why we're...
But are you gonna, like, do something about people's socio-economic stances in order to like fix this problem? The Democrats we're the ones who are pushing for that, but you know. Yeah, conservatives not so much. Just have kids, forehead. Okay. On whose dime? Mine? I don't have that. So, like, fuck you. I'm not gonna have kids.
here.
We need to encourage more people to get married and have kids. We need those people to be the people of the future.
Many countries are no longer having enough kids to replace their populations. Some experts predict this will cause labor shortages and inflation, permanently changing the economy. The people most passionate...
Because here's the thing. This is an actual issue. I'm not denying that this is a problem. This is definitely an actual problem. But the problem is, like, what pro-natalists think the problem is the fact that they want more white babies to make sure they're not getting demographically replaced. That is their argument. The reason why people are not having, like, babies in richer countries is because it is expensive to have children. That's why.
Passionate about this call themselves pronatalists.
People are like, why are high fertility people always so weird?
Malcolm and Simone Collins have 4 kids, soon to be 5, and are some of the loudest advocates for pronatalism.
What we've seen is pronatalism.
Dude, fucking look at these guys, dude. Like, look at these guys. And you're trying to tell me that this isn't a fetish for them? Like, we have, like, the woman here being the humble, demure, like, Amish cosplay fucking LARPer or some shit. Yeah, late 1800s looking ass. And this guy looks like a fucking, like, tech bro or some shit. Like, I wonder how much money these guys make.
And demographic collapse have become the global warming of the right. Some of the first people who really recognize the scale of the problem are major players in the White House right now. You know, like J.D. Vance and Elon Musk.
The birth rate is very low in almost every country.
I don't think you want Elon Musk to be your advocate for pronatalism, I'll be honest, because he's a deadbeat dad with 13 fucking kids, and all of his kids, like, fucking hate his guts, except for the one that he keeps has, like, a little meat shield on him, okay? Let's be honest here. I don't think this is not the man you want as an advocate for your position. Just throwing that out there.
And unless that changes, civilization will disappear.
Elon Musk's fixation with population collapse has pushed pronatalism into the spotlight. His tweets about NatalCon helped double attendance for this year's event, where the tickets cost $1,000.
$1,000 tickets, huh? I wonder why those tickets cost $1,000. It's almost as if it's not about people having babies, it's about demographic replacement. That's what these people have a problem with, demographic replacement. Because everyone can broadly agree that people should have more children. That's not the issue, right? The issue is money. You need money to pay for kids. Kids cost a lot of money. And people don't have money to have kids with. Crazy.
Yes, I spent all of my savings coming here, actually.
Do you want to have kids?
Yes.
You don't have kids?
Bro, why would you do that? That's fucking wild, man. I feel bad for this Benjamin guy, dude. Yeah, good, like, I spent my entire life savings to be here. Oh. So, like, again, you want to have kids. With what money? What money do you have to have kids with now? Uh-oh.
No.
How many do you want to have?
Well, minimum 5. I want to have my first at 22.
5.
And then I want to have
so you gotta get on that.
Yeah, I know.
First at 22, dude? What did my parents have me? They were 29. Right? Yeah, my parents were 29. My mom was 29 when she had me. Yeah, she was born in 67. But again, you know, conditions in fucking former Warsaw Pact Romania, a little different from the from the broader West, if I do say so myself.
Organizers said they heard a lot of interest in matchmaking, so they gave yellow wristbands to singles to help them find each other.
You have a yellow wristband.
Yes.
So you're
and
you're open to mingling.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Have you met anybody good?
Well, I'm not sure if you can tell.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot of lads here. There's not that many ladies.
The speaker.
I wonder why there's not a lot of women at the pro-natalist conference. Sausage fest! Sausage fest! Dude, maybe, like, listen. The Greeks constantly talked about how one of the most fulfilling relationships is boy love, okay? If they want to, like, return with the V, they could, like, all fuck each other in the ass or something. Fuck it, yeah? Yeah. Sausage fest! Funny as fuck, dude.
Speakers are largely dry economist types, focused on tweaks to boost birth rates, from tax credits.
Was that homeschooling? Fuck you, CNN player. Yeah, homeschooling. Homeschooling is definitely going to be the main fucking thing. Again, this is not about fucking rich, like, or like people having, like, everybody having babies, because it's a broader problem, generally speaking, in Western society, period, because it's fucking expensive to live here. But yeah, homeschooling. I wonder why we're talking about fucking homeschooling. Oh, because it's only about rich, affluent, white children. That's the point. That's why. This is casteism? Yeah. Oh, yeah. 1,000%. I'm surprised that you're not seeing a lot more, like, fucking Brahmins here, to be honest. It's mostly just fucking white people. This is, like, totally in line with, like, what the broader goals of what Brahmins have. Let's be honest here. They would all be fucking pro-natalists as well, but the thing is that their population is way fucking higher. You know, Brahmins already have arranged marriage to figure that shit out. That's true. That's true. I guess they don't need pro-natalist Brahmins, because whatever. We just have arranged marriages. Who gives a fuck? But yeah, why is like there's so far, like, the information here that CNN is presenting is, like, totally fine, but they're not, like, pushing back on anything at all. It's mostly just, like, been centrist dreck, because we broadly speaking, we know, like, what the problems here are. The main concerns that all these, like, pro-natalist types have is demographic replacement. That's why they keep saying, and they've said this before, a lot of the people who pretend to be, like, pro-natalist is like, well, we don't want, like, a lot of like other children are replacing the rates of white children, and we're kind of uncomfortable with that. It's like, caught, like, thanks for just immediately saying what this is all about, like, instantaneously. It's about, like, it's great replacement theory shit. That's what it is. It's all about great replacement shit, period. Because why do you have homeschooling there? The only people who can afford to homeschool are generally pretty rich people. Most people can't afford to do that because you need 2 people out working. And the purposes of public schooling in the United States is to make sure that you have a place to put your kids somewhere so the parents can go out to work. We all know this. We're not deluding ourselves into thinking that, but you know. Yeah, can't homeschool sucks to suck.
Tweaks to boost birth rates, from tax credits to housing. But
Sure,
politically, the vibe is firmly right-wing.
The marginal people need to go back to the margins.
The marginal people need to go back to the margins. And yeah, hello, Sargon of Akkad. Yeah, I wonder what Sargon means by that. Again, pretty fucking blatant there. It's about demographic replacement. We all know that Sargon of Akkad is like a stupid, dumb fuck racist anyway, so crazy. And here's Chak Posobiec again.
Want to raise families. The left is raising pride flags over cat shelters.
In 2020. Why are we talking about fucking homeless, like, not homeless, single fucking cat ladies again? And like pride flags? Like the gays, right? You know, gay people have children via surrogacy all the time. Tave Rubin is gay, you know? It's Chak Posobiec. He's a Nazi. Like, he just says shit to say shit. But no, again, the reason why people aren't having kids is because kids are expensive. And the right is not going to do anything about that. They're just like, have kids. Like, it's the George Carlin bit, right? We all know the George Carlin bit. I mean, if I were to play it, it's gonna get like fucking insta copy striked. So we're not gonna play the bit. But it's like the bit, like, you know, Republicans are really obsessed with the unborn. They love the unborn because they can't say anything. They can't do anything to advocate for their positions. So they love it because they can easily just glam on whatever positions they have onto them. Because again, like, the right wing doesn't care about people's autonomy. They don't give a shit about that. They're one of the most fucking annoyingly collectivist morons on the fucking planet. But you know, it's like the infamous line from that bit. It's just like, well, if you're unborn, you're good. If you are born, you're fucked. Because we know, broadly speaking, what needs to be done in order to, well, facilitate more people wanting to have kids. Better pay, better child services, better healthcare in general. And that's not going to happen anytime soon in the US because, you know, there's money to be made out there. So fuck it. We prefer to make the money.
24 actually did have a slight uptick in births. Bad news. It was just the anchor babies from the illegal immigrants.
It's pretty difficult to draw a neat,
demographic
circle around everybody here. The far right or the extreme right, like, we would like to have more babies, but we would like to have more of our babies. On the other end, people like, more babies are always good, whether it's babies or immigrants. And the other axis, you know, trad Catholics, Mormons, and then like a kind of tech bro or tech futurist genetic selection of embryos, trying to refine the quality of the...
Man, that's a lot of different ways to say fascists. You know, far right fascists. Trad Caths, fascists. Mormons, fascists. Tech bro, feudalist tech bros, fascists. That's a lot of different synonyms for fucking fascists. So far, like, there's been, like, zero fucking pushback or anything. They're just, like, presenting this data as if, like, yeah, this is, like, totally a normal thing that should be happening. Yeah, this is, like, a totally normal con thing. Look at this, like, little thing that we're, like, presenting here. You know, CNN, they're doing their most due diligent journalism, as always.
The babies that are born.
Because the Collinses are building their family through IVF, using experimental testing to rank embryos for traits from health risks to intelligence, they get one of the biggest criticisms of pronatalism.
bro. They're doing fucking eugenics. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I thought the far right hated IVF. Yet we're doing, like, fucking IVF eugenics. We're pulling out the baby calipers. We got the baby calipers. We gotta measure the size of the embryo and make sure that, it's not gonna get heart disease or whatever the fuck. But okay, man. We got baby eugenics.
Natalism, that it's code for eugenics.
Eugenics is when you say, these are good traits, these are bad traits.
This is just people choosing among their own embryos.
And do you not understand how that logic can immediately be like, oh, I don't like this particular percentage of DNA within my children. Let's just get rid of that instead. The new embryo. Do you not understand how that could be bad? The reason that people may think like, you might be a eugenicist, but okay. Sure, man.
We're not talking about sterilizing people or all the classic problems that are out there with eugenics.
Ahead of the
Yet you went to a conference where most of the main speakers there were talking about demographic replacement. Sure. Yeah. Okay, dude.
Conference, press coverage called out some speakers as race science promoters and eugenicists, and students
Sargon.
accused the event of hosting Nazis. A criticism
Sargon.
organizer Kevin Dolan dismissed.
Jack Posobiec.
You can't be governed by people calling you names. I think that these ideas, they're not going to come from people who don't want to hurt any feelings.
Oh no, I don't like the fact that I'm being called out for being a fascist and having an event with a bunch of fascists. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, dude.
Feel like there's a risk of alienating people with the kind of speakers you've selected and that tenor?
Of course.
And is that a risk for the larger cause?
I mean, yeah, some of those people are polarizing. They're my friends. And I'm not going to chuck them under the bus.
We can't let...
They're your friends, dude. Guys, I think you might have made some very strange bedfellows. You've made some bedfellows with a lot of fucking weirdo freakazoids. I'm just going to say that. A lot of freaks. Let's be honest here. I think there might be a reason why pro-natalism might not be taking off as well as these guys might think.
The right own things that are that fundamental.
Paul Constance was the only liberal we met the whole weekend.
I'm here because I think it's a really big topic, and progressives need to be in the conversation.
Why is this such a big deal to you?
So I have kids in their 20s. Young people today feel very hesitant or unable to form families. It's very easy to talk about cat ladies and to imply that people on the left don't care about kids. It's much harder to actually put forward policies that would make everyone of any political stripe be more inclined to form a family.
I think that
what are the policies that these guys are saying? So they talked about, I'm assuming, and this is more than likely what The Economist suggested, because all the far-right dipshits talked about demographic replacement first and foremost, because that's why they're pro-natalist. They don't want brown people to fucking start taking over white people. When in reality, like I said before, you want to know the main fucking people who are talking about, like, wanting to do something to help facilitate more children to being birthed. Oh, it's the Democrats with the child tax credit that they let fucking sunset like complete fucking morons because Joe Manchin's not a human. Those are the people that have the actual policies and are putting forth the policies. The right wing is just like, dude, just have babies, forehead. And everyone's just like, no, because they're expensive. Like, and we'd have to, like, stop our fucking careers. Because guess what? We need money in order to pay for stuff to survive. And the pro-natalists are just like, darn, we've been epically owned in this debate. In the 1970s, Indira Gandhi put 11 million people into sterilization camps to control population growth. Nice! Between the Punjab emergency, aka anti-Sikh apartheid, neoliberalism, and austerity measures, she was almost worse than Thatcher. Excellent, fantastic. Yeah, Have kids, forehead. Never suggest any of like the good policies necessary to have children, but yeah, okay.
One of the things that often gets skipped over in any discussion of natalism today is kind of the actual lives of women who make decisions about whether or not to bring a child into the world. Don't forget about the ladies.
Well, that is a very good point by this doctor lady over here. That's a really good point, because you want to know who most people tend to be pro-natalist? White men. A lot of white men tend to be very, very openly pro-natalist. Why is that? Because, again, hierarchy and maintenance of control. That's it. If they knock up women as much as possible, it'll be less likely that the women go out to seek a career, because sometimes some women want to be career seekers. They don't want to have kids until later in life because, you know, that's just how it is. Sometimes people are built different. A lot of men who, well, don't really like trying much at all in order to try to court women, would much prefer to be like, nah, I'd rather knock up as many women as possible to make sure that she can't leave the kitchen and does my house chores for me. You know, like, if we want to go like full on like Freudian here, for lack of a better term, because like they just want a mother to take care of the house and kids. That's the fucking point. They want to keep someone under their thumb for control purposes. That's the point. So guess what? Are the perspectives of women going to be heard at all here? You know, the actual child rearers? Probably not. Like that one dude said earlier, it's like, yeah, it's just mostly dudes here. I wonder why.
Don't forget about the people who have the babies.
This will be an experience.
I'm sorry to say, I think they're going to forget about the people who are actually going to have the babies. But yeah, you know, pro-natalism, you know, it's, again, like I said before, it's not about, like, facilitating birth of more children, which I guess, like, liberal pro-natalists would have as a position. Like, yeah, so long as everyone is having more children, I think that's, like, what matters the most. No, for all these, like, far-right fucking freaks, what they focus on particular, it's about ethnic and demographic replacement. And CNN, not really talking about that at all, never, like, explicitly mentioning that, is a big tell that, like, you know, in reality, they do, like, they don't give a shit about this. Because that's what pronatalism is truly about. If they were doing, like, actual good reporting, they would mention, like, yeah, why the far right is so obsessed with it. But, you know, centrist, I say in air quotations, is not interested in doing any of that because it's about, like, you know, commodification of media, blah, blah, blah. I've talked about this broadly speaking, God knows how many times. We know the consequences of commodified media. It's never, for the far right, being pro-natalist is not about, you know, having more kids, allowing families to be in a position to have more children. For them, it's all about ethnic and demographic replacement. They talk about this all the fucking time. Sargon, Jack Posobiec, these are like the freaks that have focused on shit like this before. So, again, it's not about giving families the tools to have children. It's about, like, fuck, there's too many browns and blacks replacing our pristine, beautiful white seed with their dirty seed or whatever the fuck. That's what it's all about. It's all fundamentally fucking racism at the end of it. Let's be fucking honest here.